What's the crack, people? Charlie Doherty here, yes, the Charlie Doherty. You've heard it all before. Travellers and gypsies are violent. They're thieves, they'll rob your lawnmower. They'll cause trouble, they'll leave a mess in your town. This is what we've been hearing for decades, from newsreaders and from politicians. But I'm going to show you this week what travellers are really like, because we're going to Appleby Fair. It's a fair that's been going on for centuries, for hundreds of years, and it's very popular with Irish travellers and Romany gypsies. Travellers and gypsies from all over England and from all over Ireland come to this fair once a year for about a week. They sell horses, there's trotting races, there's music, entertainment, people sell goods in the fair, and also it's a big social event for travellers and gypsies in this country. So come with me to Appleby and I'll show you what it's all about. To give you a bit of background context, Irish travellers and Romany gypsies are two separate ethnic groups. Romany gypsies can trace their heritage to northern India. They made their way through Asia, then through Europe, and eventually landed in England, hundreds of years ago. The Romany people got the name gypsy because they were mistaken for Egyptians. Irish travellers, on the other hand, come from Ireland. Now, their exact origins are unknown. Some say that the Irish travellers split off from the main Irish population during the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland, and others say that Irish travellers are the pre-Celtic Irish. Regardless of where they came from, Irish travellers have been around for a long time. Appleby Horse Fair was founded by Royal Charter hundreds of years ago, and became very popular amongst Romany gypsies and Irish travellers ever since.
Bits and pieces, really. You just up for the day today, are you?
Yeah, and I actually, before I retired,
Okay, we're finally here now in Appleby. This is day one, the first day. It's quiet at the moment. There's like a few horses behind me, but there's quite a few trailers. If you look this way, and wagons up there. But again, it's only the first day. This will really start to kick in around like Saturday, Sunday. So I'll be going around the fair talking to people about traveller, gypsy traditions, talking about horses, talking about the culture, talking about how we're perceived in the media, all sorts of things. So hopefully things go well. I had a walk through the camp and one wagon caught my eye, so I spoke to its owner, Diane. I'm here with Diane in Appleby Horse Fair. As you can see behind us, she has a lovely traditional gypsy wagon. So Diane, how long have you had that wagon for?
we've had it quite a number of years, but we've always had them. Even when we never had this, we had other ones as well.
Yeah.
So we've had them in our family from date one, been in our family for generations, and we feel if we haven't got one of these, that we're letting our heritage down, we're letting our people down, because all of our people have had these all of their lives.
Yeah. And could you tell me maybe a little bit about the artwork and kind of...
Yeah, well, this is the bow top one, with the sheets what come up the side. As you can see, this one's highly carved and ornate, 22 carat gold leaf all the way around it. We like to look after them, we like to keep them. They're a treasured possession amongst us now, and they're getting far and few between, but we're proud to be the owners of them.
Oh, it's an absolutely beautiful wagon. I mean, there's plenty of wagons here in the fair, but this is the nicest one I've come across, if I'm being completely honest with you. So how often do you come to Appleby? Do you come every year, or...?
Yeah, we come to Appleby, we came up to Appleby with the horses and rode it up on the way. It's getting a lot harder now through the traffic on the roads, and people don't understand the slowness of us and that, but we still manage to keep our tradition up and do it.
So Diane, have you noticed a change in people's attitudes towards gypsies and travellers?
I've noticed a lot of change in people's attitude towards our people, mainly a lot with the police as well. I'm not saying all the police, because some of them are very, very good, but they tried to stop us with the horses. A horse is not a car. You can't just pull up there and a horse has to move, right? But what I notice is a lot of discrimination coming against us, but it happened when the war was on with Hitler, and people were never there then to help our people. I really do believe only God brought us through it. And I see lately a lot of the same type of things are happening again with people coming against our people. But they will never stop us. We're strong-hearted. We're of Romany blood. We'll fight till the end. We will not be discriminated against, and we won't be put down.
How do you find the people here at Appleby? How do they behave and how do you interact with people here?
There are a very lot of good old-fashioned travelling people come to Appleby, and they're all there to help you, they're all there for each other, and if one wagon gets stuck, they're all there to push it out. But as with everywhere else, you get day trippers coming, people who were not gypsy and travelling people, and I'm not saying all of them, because there are a lot of good people in them, but as with everything, sometimes we all get tired with the one brush. It's like, we don't believe in leaving rubbish down. People come and throw rubbish down and, oh, look at the rubbish the gypsies have left.
Yeah. Well, of course, I mean, at any large event, you'll always find rubbish. So at like fairs or music festivals, even the King's Coronation is rubbish everywhere.
That's
but
right.
they never said it was because of the people. It was just, that's what happens at large events. But when it's gypsies and travellers, then all of a sudden it's, oh, they're dirties,
Yes.
to have their own kind of agenda.
Yeah.
But look, it was great to meet you, Diane. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Religion is a major part of both Romany Gypsy and Irish traveller cultures, whether you're Catholic, Anglican, Lutheran or an evangelical Christian. So I spoke to Margaret Doran, who's been coming to Appleby for years for religious outreach. I'm here with Margaret Doran. Margaret Doran is a well-respected member of the travelling community. She's quite well known in religious circles, and this is their, I suppose, prayer tent you have going on. So
It's called the Travellers Catholic Renewal, and you know the reason this was set up, being from the travelling community myself, I know how hard it is for when the people are travelling around. Travellers are travelling around maybe all year, living in a trailer in a caravan. And when they stop somewhere, they haven't got time they've got time, but they probably haven't got the stopping space to have their children confirmed, Holy Communion, baptism, so they keep getting moved on. So it came up that we started off, this is coming up near 20 year. This was started going, it's non-funded by any church or anything like that, it's a non-fund organisation. And although our culture is so important, faith is central to the culture. Faith is very, very essential. And as we've been coming here, you know, you get a lot of different conspiracy, different things going on, people saying this and saying that. But we've actually built a lot of bridges between the settled community and the travellers, you know, like mutual respect. And it's not just for travellers, it's for all denominations, everybody. You know what I mean? We call it Travellers Catholic Renewal because we're actually on the field. And it's also, it's a place to be pointed to. It's the hub of evangelisation here in Appleby, and we've got quite a few team members that really do, you know, really do help us quite a lot with it as well. And
you've been here for a while, like you've been here for years in the spot.
it's coming up near 20 year, coming up around the 20 year mark, something like that. And yeah, because when travellers descend, they come from all over, maybe Sweden, America, wherever it may be, even America. And when they descend, they've got their grannies, their grandfathers, their aunts, their uncles. So it's beautiful to see them all come together and see their grandchildren baptised, Holy Communion or confirmation, you know, here together. They're all here as a family.
Yeah. And how do you find the travellers and gypsies get on at the fair or around like the tent? Like how do you like in terms of their behaviour? Like,
to be honest with you, I think they get on really well, very, very well, yeah. They get on really well here together because there's all different people that come to meet their friends. Some girls comes here, meet their boyfriends, meet their future husbands. And yeah, they do, generally, yeah, they get on very, very well.
okay, thank you very much, Margaret. Thank you
You're
for...
welcome.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, Charles.
There are many reasons to visit Appleby Horse Fair, whether it be for business reasons to buy and sell horses, for social reasons to meet friends and family, or to even meet a potential partner, or for religious reasons, which is the case when these children here receive the sacrament of confirmation from Bishop Paul Swarbrick. Many people come to Appleby Horse Fair to buy and sell horses, but many just come to show their horses off. Now, when you have such a large event with so many people and so many horses, you sometimes have unfortunate incidents where horses are injured. So I spoke to Nicola from Red Wings Horse Sanctuary. I'm here with Nicola from Red Wings Horse Sanctuary. So would you like to tell me a little bit about what you're doing here at Appleby and how long you've been coming and kind of how do you get on with the travellers and gypsies at the fair?
So yeah, I've been coming since 2012. We kind of, as a vet team, we work alongside the RSPCA and under the umbrella of the National Equine Welfare Council. We come here to obviously help people and help their horses, so people can bring their horses to us for treatment. We've got some independents behind us happening as well. We help the RSPCA with enforcement, so if there are any animal welfare offences, we will help with that. We see a lot of issues with exhausted horses, so we try and monitor that and help the horses where possible. And then also something else we do, we started 9 years ago as the Best at Appleby Awards, so this is our tent behind us. What we're trying to do is award good welfare standards, so we're trying to look out as vets for horses that are happy and healthy, really good condition, and are demonstrating really good horsemanship within the community. And there are loads, like most of the horses here are in excellent condition, so it's really for us picking out like the best ones for us. As part of that, the vets assess them, we check them all over health-wise, and then we give them awards. We have awarded quite a few already. I think we've had 6 Best at Appleby Awards, a couple of Rising Star Awards, they're under 16. We have Best in Harness as well, and Best Hoof Health, which is awarded by a farrier. So when they all win, they're entered into online competition, so you can find Best at Appleby on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook, and we give them very large awards which are donated by the TGCA, so the Traditional Gypsy Cob Association. So they're really popular, but in general, I mean, I love coming to Appleby, I enjoy it, and I think we get on quite well with the travelling community. I think it's based on mutual respect, and we know that people are really good horsemen here, and it's trying to impart some of our knowledge to help the horses where we can, and we just have a really enjoyable time.
That's great, and I see you have like a vet station here.
Yeah.
So maybe could you run us through a little bit what's going on, maybe? Or?
Yeah, so this is one of our vets, Chloe. So I'm not sure exactly what's the circumstances, but this horse has been brought to the vet pen for treatment. It looks like he's got a wound or something. Maybe he's just caught the back of his fetlock there. So as I say, anyone can bring their horses down to us and we will provide treatment for a donation. So we don't necessarily ask for money. Yeah. It's not about cost. We are here from Red Wings Horse Sanctuary and other organisations to make sure the horses are okay, and we provide that for free.
And how many horses would you say you'd help roughly per day?
I mean, every year it varies. Lots. It's hard to put a number because there's vets all around the fair, but already up here we've had like 4 or 5 horses in the pen today. Last night we were very busy looking at the exhausted horses. Many over the years, and some of the ones that end up without a home, we will take them back and look after them in our sanctuaries.
And do you find that the travellers and gypsies, do you find they're willing to come over and look for help or ask for help if there's a problem with the horse?
It's a kind of a combination. Again, I think it's based on that trust issue. We're trying to make sure people are aware that we are here and we are very accepting, and we know a lot about cobs and trotters. So I would say like this one has been brought down to us. We do get quite a few, but equally sometimes you spot them when we're wandering around the residential fields. We kind of ask people not to be afraid to come and speak to us. We're not going to judge, we just want to make sure the horse is okay. But it's definitely getting better over the years. More people come to us.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Down in the village you'll find thousands of travellers and gypsies. This is where many of them buy their horses, buy equipment for their horses, and wash the horses in the river. The fair in all its parts has been going on for hundreds of years, and is very important to Irish traveller and Romany gypsy people. To find out more about this, I spoke to the main organiser of the fair, Billy Welch. I'm here in Appleby today. I'm here with a man named Billy Welch. If you've read any newspaper articles on Appleby, you would have heard quotes from a man named Billy Welch, and you're probably wondering who he is. But I'm here with him today and I'm going to interview him. So first off, I'll ask you, Billy, what exactly do you do here at Appleby?
Well, I'm the main organiser of the old traditional fair. The fair's been here for centuries, and which is Fair Hill. I organise it, and a week after this fair finishes, we start planning for next year fair. So all a year long, I'm working with the councils, the police, the different authorities, the RSPCA, the Red Cross Fire Brigade, to make the fair run as smoothly and as safely as possible.
Yeah.
And it's basically an all year round thing.
Yeah.
And I'm also the spokesperson and representative of the Gypsy and Traveller people here.
How long have you been doing it for?
My father died, 25 years. My father died 25 years ago, but he did it before me.
Yeah.
I inherited this responsibility from him.
Yeah.
And so it's going back as long as we can remember. My family have all sort of been the custodians of the fair. We look after it.
Yeah.
People just expect us to do that.
And then your children will continue this tradition. And
Hopefully, I've had a strong conversation with a couple of my sons. They're not very happy about it, but they haven't got a lot to say on the matter.
Okay, so the fair gets a lot of negative attention in the media. Do you think this is justified?
No, don't. There is nowhere in the British Isles, or possibly the world, where you would get an event of this size, with this volume of people, and have the least amount of criminality and law breaking. It is official on police records. I'm not saying someone coming here innocently bought a stolen trailer, a caravan, or coming here with a vehicle with no insurance on it. That, not counting things like that. I'm talking about a crime actually committed at Appleby when this fair's on. And the police records state that the crime rate is practically zero.
Yeah.
In fact, when the fair's on and up and running, the crime rate in Appleby and the surrounding area goes down. So the anti-fair lobby who try to push what's this crime wave, the crime wave and the gypsies and the travellers here, is a lie, because it doesn't exist. I'm not saying we're perfect, there's no such thing as perfect, but officially on police records the crime rate is practically zero. Than what they've got here. In Carlisle, just up the road here, a little area of Carlisle called Butchergate, where the nightclubs are. The police, an ex-policeman's been here this morning talking to me. He said with 300 to 400 revellers, just in Butchergate alone, in one night on a Friday night, we get 50 times more trouble than what we get from 50,000 people in Appleby over a period of a week. The pubs is packed, there's a lot of drinking going on, we get 50 times more trouble. So they tried their best to promote the fair as a dangerous, lawless place.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It's the opposite of that. And the media just point blank refuse to report it like that. The police have told them, I have told them, but they won't. So what they do is they wait on a rare occasion when there's been one little incident, and it can be the simplest little thing, turn a molehill into a mountain, and they make a big thing about it. They just focus on the negativity. Yeah. So it's all down to the media and what the media want to report.
And what do you think the media, politicians and the anti-fair lobby, what do you think they do what they do? Like, what's their issue with gypsies and travellers?
Well, it's easy. It's a thing called racism.
Yeah.
Pure racism. Everybody in this country and every ethnic minority has this thing called your human rights. But they don't think we're human, and they don't think we've got no rights. This is the problem.
Yeah.
And no matter what we do, no matter what we say, the media will not give us a fair crack of the whip. They just won't do it.
Yeah. And how does a negative perception then of travellers and gypsies, how does it affect you personally? And how does it affect people at the fair and their lives?
As gypsy people and travelling people, we live with racism, live with it all our lives. We experience it on a day-to-day basis. So human nature is a very, very capable of way of just getting used to things. And it's called overtime, and it doesn't bother you. So basically, what these bigoted racist people think, we don't care. Because nothing we say or do will ever change their minds. They've got that mindset, and you'll never change it. They've got this perception about gypsy people and travelling people, what they don't know the first thing about.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about us. And it doesn't bother us. We get on with our lives. As long as we can have events like this, where we can be together amongst our own, and be confident, and be happy, that's all we need.
Yeah. And I suppose final question would be, what do you think travellers and gypsies can do to change this perception of us?
Yeah. Well, for quite a few years. I've been a lot in the past. A lot of gypsy people, travelling people, Claude and myself, as well as young people. We never bothered to vote. We didn't think it would, whatever we said or whatever we did would make no difference to the wider community, to the government, to the councils. We didn't bother. We lived in that little bubble, and the Gorge people lived in their bubble. And what they did didn't bother us because we didn't care. And what we did didn't bother them.
Yeah.
But times have changed, and things are getting worse for us, especially since we had Boris Johnson for a Prime Minister and Priti Patel. They fetched that police bill out. We're having struggles with not so much Appleby, but with other ancient horse fairs now, excuse me. And we're fighting to preserve them. Some of them's older than this fair.
Yeah.
We've got to change our mindset. We've got to change the way we think. Our biggest problem is we live in a democracy and we don't use it. We've got to start using the ballot box. The government thinks there's 260,000 gypsies and travellers in this country. Well, they're wrong. They're miles out with that. There's easily 1 million, maybe 1.5 million. Could be upwards of 2 million, because 90% of our people live in houses and they don't know who they are. They don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They're just counting people on campsites.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get together, and I've been promoting this for quite a long time now, and I've done a full, like a weekly series, 6-week series thing with Sky News years ago about promoting democracy amongst our people.
Yeah.
And every opportunity I get, if I'm on the TV, if I'm on the radio, newspapers, I push for that.
Yeah.
We're starting gradually now, we're starting to work, more and more of us are starting to vote, but we've got to get everybody voting.
Yeah.
And we've got this benefit of one thing, this thing called social media. And everybody's got one of them, we all have.
Yeah.
And we can all stay in touch with each other. And if we can all organise ourselves to vote in a block vote from one party to the other, please believe me, overnight we become valuable. Even if it's only 500,000 who can vote. 500,000 voting in one block vote could make the difference between one political party getting into power and another one getting kicked out in the event of a close-run election.
Yeah.
We could make the difference.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, overnight, we become valuable to the local councillors, especially in like a town like Darlington, where I live. It's like the capital for gypsies and travellers in England and well, in Britain. And we've started already doing that there, and it's started already to have an effect. They're starting to take up and sit up, take notice to us, and treat us with respect, like they do with everybody else, the wider community and the other ethnic minorities, because they've always used the ballot box. And we haven't. We've got to get into it. And once we become valuable to them, and we can use that social media to network amongst ourselves and say, right, the best way forward for us is to vote for this particular party. This party will do this for us and that for us. And they're saying it in the manifestos. They're saying we're going to treat gypsy people like human beings. We don't want more than anybody else. We don't think we're better than anybody else. But nor do we think anybody else is better than us. And we just want the same thing as what the rest of them's got.
Yeah.
Respect, and our human rights. And the only way to do it, there's no other way to do it. We can argue with them and debate with them till we're blue in the face. Overnight, when these councilmen set up and these MPs, and they think there's lots of vote in one block vote, in big areas of travelling people and gypsy people, where there's massive communities of them, that will have a real effect, do you know what I mean? But it will make them sit up, take notice, and overnight will become valuable to them.
Yeah.
And if you're not valuable, you're a lowlife and nobody wants you. If you are valuable, we love you. Do you know what I mean? They love you.
You mentioned earlier the, I believe, the Police Crime and Sentencing Act of 2022.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was passed by
Section 4.
so it was passed 2 years ago. And things like these are passed because travellers at the time, travellers and gypsies didn't come together and they didn't push back against it. What do you think could happen in the future if travellers remain the way they've been behaving for the last, decades, the last like 2, 3, 4 decades?
Well, I spoke to a lot of chief constables up and down the country about this, and I went to a lot of meetings with them. They didn't want that police bill.
Yeah.
They didn't want it basically our police force is not perfect, but as police forces go in this world, they're a pretty good police force, and they are the envy of the world. They're not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. You've got hundreds of thousands of people in one organisation. You're going to get the odd idiot and the odd bad person. That's human nature. We've got that ourselves amongst our people. But they didn't want this police bill. They said we've got enough laws to deal with gypsies and travellers. I don't know why they're forcing us to do this. Basically, because the last time a law was fetched out like this, it was in Ireland, I think, in 2020, was it? 2000, yeah. Was it 2000? No, not 2020, yeah.
Fairly recently, yeah.
Yeah, fairly recently, anyways. But before that, the last time a law was fetched out in any country like that was pre-war Germany, just before the war started.
Yeah.
The Nazis introduced the identical law against the gypsy people and travelling people.
Yeah.
And it went from taking their homes off them and their horses and put the children in a home and putting them in a prison to putting them all in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Then they went from concentration camp to death camps.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute this government would do that.
Yeah.
But we've got to remember that that is how, this is the police bill is how that law began.
Yeah.
How it began. Now, we had a bit of good news from the High Courts recently that they want this looked at and they've sent it back to the government. And I did say to them, because I spoke in Parliament Square about it, and with Labour MPs and even the Scottish National Party, the SNP MP stood there with us, and some of the baronesses and lords, and I said, this law must be scrapped, or it must be amended. It needs to be amended.
Yeah.
I'm willing to sit down and talk to them, and it needs to be amended. This has completely taken away our history, our culture, not just our human rights. Our history goes back thousands of years. Gypsy people have got their own DNA footprint, as have the Irish travelling community and the other travelling community, the English and the Scottish and the Welsh. We're ancient peoples, nomadic peoples that go back thousands of years with an ancient beliefs and ancient cultures. You just can't wipe that away because you think it's inconvenient with a stroke of a pen.
Yeah.
And it won't go away. It won't go away because we've had things like this in the past. And we've had different governments who turned on us, different royal families over centuries ago who turned on us. But we've always got one thing on our side, what they can't beat. Time. Because they think, in time, we'll go away, but we won't.
Yeah.
We won't. They might wear the fancy watches, but we have the time. And I said this at Glastonbury last year. I said, and another year before, I said, on about Boris Johnson. I said he'll be gone. Before next Glastonbury, he'll be gone. He'll be out of a job. I said, because nobody who ever turned on gypsy people, travelling people, ever prosper.
Yeah.
There's never been a government, including Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. Once you turned on the gypsies and the travellers, you don't prosper and you don't last long.
Yeah.
And history proves that.
Yeah.
I said, and he will be gone before this year's out. Him and his friend Priti Patel, they'll be gone. They should have never turned on the gypsy people and travelling people because they'll never have another day's luck. Within months, they were gone.
Yeah.
Then I thought Rishi Sunak maybe would have amended it, but Rishi Sunak inherited a massive mess of Boss and Liz Truss. A complete mess what they made. He inherited it. And he hasn't had enough time to turn things round. But at the end of the day, the High Courts have sent this back to the government. Now, maybe if it's Sir Keir Starmer and the Labour Party after this election, maybe they will listen to us and maybe they will reverse it. But the only thing we can do is not give in and just keep fighting. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Of course, but it's a devastating bill. I have some information. So as you said, it's part 4 of the Police Crime Sentencing and Court Act of 2022, which is sections, 2020, which will be sections 83 to 85. It deals with unauthorised encampments. It states that a person aged 18 or over who is residing or intending to reside on land without the consent of the occupier of the land and is causing significant damage or significant disruption or is deemed likely to cause significant damage or significant disruption can be moved off the land and they can remove the property and have to remove the property from the land, yeah?
Yeah.
The occupier of the land would be the person who owns the land, or in a case of common land, it would be the local authority. If they don't leave as soon as reasonably practical, they can face up to 3 months in prison, receive a £2,500 fine, and they can have their property, such as their cars and caravans/trailers, seized. So if you live in a trailer, this will make you homeless.
Yeah.
So examples of significant damage would be damage to land.
And what happens to your children? If you've got little children, what happens to
Of course, yeah. What happens to them? Yeah.
social service?
Yeah. But what's important to remember is you don't actually have to cause significant damage or disruption.
No.
They have to have suspicion that you will do it, and then you can be sent to prison, fined, and made homeless.
Personally, with absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing, we can be arrested and have our homes confiscated. Your children can be given away to social services with absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing. They might think we might do something. You can be accused of something by one of the local residents in the area or a family, accused of it, with no evidence at all. You can be put in prison, your home confiscated, and your vehicles, and turned into a criminal with absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing. That first was introduced a law very, very similar to it, practically identical, by the Nazis in pre-war Germany. So that tells you everything about Boris Johnson and Priti Patel and that government.
Of course.
And some of them MPs sitting in that parliament are friends with me, or supposed to be friends with me. And every one of them voted for it. And afterwards, when I seen them, I said, I'm absolutely disgusted in yous. Shocked and disgusted that you would actually turn around and do that to me and my people after you've sat and patronised me, paid me lip service and talked to me like I'm a child and treat me and my people like children, and then you go and do that. But I said, I tell you what you won't do. You won't prosper. None of you will prosper for this. And they haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't. Boris was charged and he lost his job. He got kicked out not long after it. Do you know what I mean? And Priti Patel, that nobody's now. And there'll never ever be anybody again. And, well, they think, you see, what the Conservatives did under Boris, they thought, if we bring out a lot of popularist policies against the gypsy people, travelling people, if we bring out some laws and things so we can persecute them and allow the right wing to crawl out of the woodwork like maggots and turn on them, that's all it's done. All that police bill did as well was empower the racists, empower the right wing. That's all they've done, and it's caused us problems. But like I said before, there's one thing we've got on our side. It's time. We'll just wait them out and they'll all be gone. Yeah. And we'll get a government, a sensible government, who's reasonable and will look at us like human beings and listen to our concerns. Not some government who brings some horrible, wicked laws out against us just to make themselves popular. All that is being a bully.
Well, Billy, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to speak to us.
No problem.
Thank you very much for inviting us into your home. It's been a pleasure, Billy. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking me.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm now back in London and I wanted to do a quick recap of the video you just watched. So what have we learned? For starters, Appleby Horse Fair and other horse fairs throughout the rest of the UK and in Ireland are very important to Irish travellers and Romany gypsies. It's a major part of our culture, is where we meet people from our culture. People go to meet their friends, their family, meet partners, meet their boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. So very, very important to us. As well as this, Appleby Horse Fair is not just for socialising or selling horses, but there's also a religious aspect to the horse fair, especially at Appleby Horse Fair. Many people turn up for religious ceremonies. As you saw in the video, those children turn up for the sacrament of confirmation. But the Catholics are not the only people in the horse fair. There's also Lutherans, Anglicans, evangelical Christians, or Light and Life Missions. They have their tent there and they do their thing. But also another thing we learned is that travellers and gypsies are very good horsemen and take great pride in their horses. But sometimes in large events you have unfortunate incidents where horses can be injured and can suffer minor injuries, which is why you had the animal charities there, organised by Billy Welch, by the way. He's in communication with the RSPCA and different charities, and they come and help out. And finally, the last thing we learned is that travellers and gypsies have quite a bad public reputation. The traveller community and the gypsy community are being defamed in public by politicians and newsreaders, and it's a shame. But one of the only things we can do is come together as a people to vote. This will give us a voice and allow us to push back and help us fight discrimination. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Travel Movements YouTube page. Leave a like on this video, leave a comment on the video. If there's something you agreed with, let me know in the comments. If there's something you disagreed with, let me know in the comments.